I'll never forget that night. It was one of those evenings where everything felt like it was winding down. The pizza place I worked at was about to close, and I was just about to head home when the phone rang out of nowhere. I was alone at the counter, so I had to answer. I picked up the phone, but there was only silence on the other end. Thinking it was a prank, I decided to hang up and move on with my night. But about a minute later, the phone rang again. I answered once more, and still there was silence. I was about to hang up when I heard a faint, cold voice. It was an elderly woman requesting a regular pie for delivery. I remained polite, but inside I was feeling frustrated. My shift was ending, and all I wanted was to get home and relax after a long day. I called out to my boss about the delivery request. He told me I had to go. At first I was annoyed, but then I realized it meant another tip. You know how it is. The elderly usually tipped well. So I decided it was fine and took down the address. I told her it would arrive soon, but she had already hung up. That seemed a bit rude, but I brushed it off and yelled to the chef for one regular pizza. My boss said to just go home after the delivery since we'd be closed, so just before 10 p.m. I got in my car and entered the address into my GPS. It was 7 miles away in a quiet part of town. As I drove through the streets, I noticed how eerily quiet everything was. The streetlights flickered above me, casting strange shadows on the road. I arrived at a small, single-story house on an empty street. All the lights were off as I approached the door with the pizza. I rang the bell, hoping I hadn't been given the wrong address. I rang again. Still no answer. I was about to give up when I noticed movement at the window. I jumped back, startled, and then cautiously moved closer to see who it was. An elderly woman, probably in her late 70s, stared at me blankly through the glass. Her expression was so blank it sent a shiver down my spine. I called out that I had her pizza, but she didn't react, so I yelled it louder, hoping to get a response. Suddenly, a wide, unnerving grin spread across her face. It wasn't a warm, genuine smile, but one that sent chills down my spine. That exact expression is seared into my memory. I felt a wave of discomfort wash over me. Thoroughly creeped out, I hurried back to my car and set the pizza on the passenger seat. I had to tell my boss about this weird situation. I quickly texted him, then started the engine, eager to leave. I glanced right one last time. To my horror, the woman was now standing right outside my passenger window with that same disturbing stare. My heart raced, and I slammed the car into drive. I sped away without looking back.